Hello. I want to take a minute to go over some functionality added to Vicinity 4.48, which is our September 30th, 2024 release. Specifically, I want to talk about backflushing of packaging specifically. The use case has been brought to us that if we're doing variable fill, or if we're doing where we don't always put the exact same amount in to a finished good every time, a number of industries do that, where if you use any more than a full vessel, you're using the entire vessel. So take a drum, for example. If you fill a drum to its top, of course you're using one drum. If, however, you fill that halfway, you're still using one drum. And so we needed the ability to, in a backflushing model, where a user is not actually entering the quantity, but they're actually saying, this is the amount of finished good we got, make sure that the system uses that last drum, that extra drum, if you will, the one that's a fill. Don't use a partial drum is kind of where I'm headed with this. Now, it all starts, the control of this actually starts in component entry. So for example, I'll just bring up a packaging item I've got out here, DCFG02. We've added a checkbox next to the require inspection before use. We've added this backflush whole number quantity. That means that even if a batch ticket, even if a backflush on a batch ticket calculates a partial, it will always round up. It won't round down. It won't use typical math rounding rules and rounding something down. It'll actually always go to the next incremental number. To see that in action, I'll just open up a batch ticket, and specifically I may need to work with a batch for this scenario. Bear with me a second. So we've got, let's pick up one of these. Let me take this one. I've got some end items on this batch ticket just for clarity and just to make this conversation a little bit easier. I'm just going to drop off the other two end items. Let me just get rid of this one. Get rid of this one. And I'll get rid of this one. It just makes it easier for me to see this packaging bill of material for our demo. So I've actually got packaging associated with this end item. And what we've added is a field. It's way over to the right if you haven't already moved it over. There's a field out here that says backflush hold number. That defaults from how it was set up in component entry. Now this batch ticket was created before I did anything in component entry, and I also need to change my per just to make it get into a rounding situation. So ones wouldn't get to a rounding. And so I do want it backflushing, so I'm going to leave these blank. Now what the system's looking at is it's looking at this quantity that I put in, and it says, based on this quantity, the way I've got this item set up, I'm going to divide it by 4 or multiply it by 0.25, and it'll calculate the quantity that I need. Now, if I have a quantity like, let's say 6 as an example, that's not going to go evenly into a number. And what it's going to do is apply backflushing, or I should say rounding functionality, where, by the way, 0.5000 rounds down. We can't control that as part of the control. But so, 0.5001 would round up. That's the scenario. So, for example, if I take it from 6 to 7, that's the scenario that you're seeing currently with backflushing. Now, if I reset this a little bit, there goes my issue now is to 0, and I'm going to set this one and say I want it to only go to a whole number. Now, remember when I put in 6, I was at 1, and if I put in 7, I go to 2, and that's what you're seeing here. This item is backflush the whole number, gets me to a number with a remainder. It will always round it up to take into consideration that extra drum that I need, or in this case happens to be a can. But this one was remaining the way I had it before. This is actually going to round down because it's 0.5 is the remainder. Anyway, this is a way that you can control using partials to keep you from using partials, if you will, to allow you to only use wholes. Now, know that you can also control the decimal precision, so it won't even let me put in 2.5 here. but that has to do with the decimal precision on the unit of measure. Most importantly, the takeaway here is that we've now gotten to a scenario, if you've got a remainder of a backflushed item, it will round it to the next whole number. That's what was added in this functionality. If you need any help with that, let us know. We're happy to help, and please keep telling us about ways that we can improve the product to make your life a little easier. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.